Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for today's NBA slate on Saturday, April the 19th. We got 4 games on Saturday. We have the start of the playoffs officially. This Saturday, we got a 4-game slate. Games pretty much on all day, so it's going to be a ton of fun. Sweating these games every day. Love these like weekend playoff slates because typically, during the weekdays the games are like at night. They're like 7 o'clock games, 9 o'clock games. Well, during the weekends they'll put games on like all day. So I think the first game of the day starts at 1 o'clock Eastern, and then you have like 3 games after that, back to back to back. So it makes for a really fun sweat. Pretty much watching basketball all during the day. And I've got you guys with 2 early player props that I do like for these 4 games on Saturday. We're going to talk through these plays. We're going to share why I like them. Now, before we do get started, guys, make sure that you hit that like button down below. If you enjoy these Prizepicks videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, be sure to go sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and place your first $5 lineup. You're going to get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. So check out Prizepicks if you have not yet. And also, we do have a partnership with Sleeper, so I want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper. If you guys don't have an account over on Sleeper, you can sign up, use promo code NOAH, and when you sign up and use promo code NOAH, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. So Sleeper changed their new user offer, and now they are going back to their deposit match bonus, which is a very simple, easy deposit or easy offer to really just explain. You basically, whatever you put in, they double that pretty much. So if you put in 50, they'll give you an additional 50, so now you have $100. You put in $100, they'll give you an additional 100, so now you have $200 to play with. But whatever you deposit to start off with, they will match that up to $100, and you get access to this new user offer when you sign up for Sleeper with promo code NOAH. So make sure to go check them out, guys, and again, use that code NOAH over on Sleeper if you have not signed up for Sleeper yet. But yeah, we got some player props to talk about for Saturday. Now, I do want to recap our plays from Friday before we talk through today's plays. So we gave out 2 picks Friday for the 2 play-in games and went 2-0. So we hit both of our plays Friday. Karis LeVert over fantasy score. Klay Thompson over points. Both cashed relatively easily. I think LeVert hit, he had a really good game. I think he hit early in the 3rd quarter. And then Klay Thompson, I'm watching that game right now. He just hit early in the 4th quarter, went over his points prop. So 2 relatively sweat-free plays on Friday. Also had a really good day in the Patreon with 5-0 on the 5 picks that we gave out on Patreon. So was a much-needed, just clean, full sweep across the board. YouTube plays cash, all the Patreon plays cash. That's what we've been needing, and we got that full sweep on Friday. So let's try and carry over that success into Saturday, into the first day of the playoffs. So we're going to talk about 2 plays, guys, I do like for today. Both are going to be fantasy score props. Now, we will talk about some alternatives because I know not everyone plays on Prizepicks or on DFS apps and doesn't have access to fantasy score. So we will talk about some props that I like besides fantasy score. But if you can take fantasy score props, that's what I would recommend. Obviously the plays I'm giving out in this video are always going to be Prizepicks plays. These are going to be plays that are available on Prizepicks. I know there's other sites out there, sports books, stuff like that. But these I make Prizepicks videos. I can only play on DFS apps. I'm in I'm in a state where sports betting is not legal, so I have to play on the fantasy apps, Prizepicks, for example. But yeah, let's talk about the first prop I like. It's going to be in this Bucks and Pacers game, and we're going to take Kevin Porter Jr. for more than 22 fantasy scores. So if you look at what Kevin Porter Jr. has been doing lately, he's just been on a tear. I mean, he's had a huge games constantly. I don't know how many games in a row now he's gone over this fantasy score line. It's 5 straight games going over this fantasy score line. The minutes have been way up for Kevin Porter Jr. lately. 40 minutes, 34 minutes, 25 minutes, 23 minutes, 31 minutes. We did see some games where he only played 18 minutes, 17 minutes. The Bucks, they will kind of ride the hot hand at point guard when it comes to Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins is going to start, but it's not a guarantee that Ryan Rollins plays big minutes. I mean, if you look at Rollins' minutes just as of late, even though he's been starting, he's only played 17, 19, 23, 28, 14 minutes. So, it's not a guarantee that Kevin Porter Jr. continues to play as many minutes as he has been. But this is a player that has historically been very productive when he gets minutes. So it's not like we need him to go out there and play 30 minutes to go over this fantasy score line. He could go over this line in 20 minutes. Because if you look at Kevin Porter Jr. this season, he has been very productive with the Bucks. He's averaged 1.22 fantasy points per minute. And you got to think, Damian Lillard is still out right now. Lillard has a chance to return soon, but he's not going to be able to play in this game. And if you look at what Kevin Porter Jr. has done in the minutes he's played without Damian Lillard, with Lillard off the floor, in those minutes he has averaged 1.24 fantasy points per minute. So he's been slightly more productive with Lillard off the floor. And if we look at Kevin Porter Jr.'s game log in games without Lillard this season, so he's played 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So he's played 15 games without Lillard. He's over this fantasy score line in 11 out of those 15 games. And if you look at the games where he went under, he only played 18 minutes, 17 minutes, 17 minutes, and 14 minutes. So when he gets over 20 minutes without Damian Lillard, you can typically bet on him getting 22 fantasy score. I think more times than not, when it comes to projecting the point guard minutes for the Bucks between Rollins and Porter, I think you just kind of have to project them for like a 24-24 split. They might overlap a little bit, like they might play some minutes alongside each other, but for the most part, you're going to see basically all the point guard minutes go to those two guys, Rollins and Porter. And I think more times than not, Rollins plays probably 24-26, Porter plays like 22-24. But there are definitely times if Rollins is playing really well, his minutes could get up to like 28-30, which could bring Porter's minutes down. But there's also a chance that if Porter's playing really well, he could get up to like 25, 26, 27 minutes. He's going to operate off the bench. He's going to come off the bench, so he's going to play mostly with the second unit. He should get a lot of minutes when Giannis is off the floor. And Kevin Porter Jr. is going to run the offense when Giannis is off the floor, and he should be really productive in the minutes that he gets without Giannis. So I get why this line's at 22. Like, although he's been going off lately, it's not like we can project him to continue to be as good as he has been. But I definitely think the books are kind of undervaluing Kevin Porter Jr. here. I mean, if you look at all of his props for today, I mean, his points props only set at 9.5, PRA at 17.5. If you are looking for an alternative prop, like a prop to play besides fantasy score, which again, I know a lot of people can't take fantasy score, I think my next favorite prop would probably be Kevin Porter Jr. over 9.5 points. I think that's definitely a fine alternative to fantasy score. But Kevin Porter Jr. has shown an ability to rebound the ball, get assists. He's also been really good at getting steals. Last 4 games, he's had 2, 5, 5, and 2 steals. And if you don't know what fantasy score is, you get points for steals and blocks. This is how the fantasy points are calculated right here. So getting guys that can get you a couple steals is super valuable for fantasy. So again, that's another reason that I like fantasy score the most on Kevin Porter Jr. But again, if you don't have fantasy score, I do like more than 9.5 points as a fine alternative here. Just think the role for Kevin Porter Jr. is really good right now. I mean, he's a productive player when he gets minutes. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to operate with the second unit. Should get plenty of minutes without Giannis. And you would think the Pacers are probably going to do whatever they can to slow down Giannis, whether that be packing the paint, double teaming Giannis, whatever it may be. Should allow for some of these other guys, Kevin Porter Jr., to maybe pick up a little bit more usage, take a little bit more of an offensive role, take a few more shots than maybe what they normally would. So do like the spot for Kevin Porter Jr., like him for more than 22 fantasy score. And then the next prop that I like is another fantasy score prop, and we're going to take Asar Thompson for more than 22.5 fantasy score. So Asar Thompson's minutes the last few games have come down a little bit, to end the regular season. We saw there was a stretch of games, it was like 5 or 6 games where he was playing a lot of minutes, and some of those games were without Tobias Harris, some of those games were without Cade Cunningham, some of those games were without both Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham. The last 2 games, Harris and Cunningham have played in, and in those games, Asar only played 21 minutes, and then he did play 27 minutes. Asar has been a really productive player when he's gotten minutes this season. Now, his minutes are never like guaranteed. Like, it's not a guarantee that Asar Thompson's going to go out there and play 30 plus minutes just because they have Malik Beasley off the bench they can give minutes to. But if you look at his minutes as of late, 27, 31, 34, 20, 30, 32, 31, 29, 21, 27. Like, he was, to end the regular season, again, I know a lot of those games were without either Tobias Harris or Cade Cunningham, but he was consistently playing between like 26 to 30 minutes. And I think most nights that's kind of where we should project Asar is like mid-20s, like 26, 27 minutes. When he's playing really well, maybe he'll get up to like 30, 31 minutes. If Malik Beasley comes off the bench and is red hot, maybe Asar's minutes get cut down a little bit to like 23, 24. But it feels like he's probably got a floor of at least like 22, 23 minutes. Like, worst case scenario, he probably still plays 22, 23 minutes. And Asar Thompson, he is one of the better defenders for this Pistons team, so they're probably going to need him out there defensively to guard Jalen Brunson. Obviously, if he's guarding Jalen Brunson, that is going to bring some foul trouble risk, but that should make his minutes a little bit more secure here. And like I said, Asar Thompson is a player that can be productive when he does get minutes. He's one of these guys that can just do a little bit of everything when he's on the floor. From a scoring perspective, rebounding, assisting. He's also really good at getting steals and blocks. And again, that's another reason that I like fantasy score prop here on Asar Thompson, because he can have games where he gets like 2-3 steals, couple blocks. A recent game against the Knicks, he had 2 blocks. He had 3 steals and a block against Sacramento, a steal and a block, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Like, he's a guy that gets those steals and blocks, and those are huge for fantasy score. They really add up. If we're talking about a prop you could take on Asar besides fantasy score, this one's a little bit tricky. There's not as many props I like on Asar besides fantasy, but I think if I had to take something, it probably would be PRA. Again, there's definitely a chance that he doesn't go over 17 PRA, but still goes over fantasy, because he could have like 14 PRA, but then he could have 2 steals and 2 blocks, and that would obviously be enough to put him over fantasy. So if you can't take fantasy score on Asar, I'm fine with 17 PRA, but I don't like that nearly as much as I like this fantasy score line. I mean, if you just look at Asar this season, when he has played at least 24 minutes, he's over this fantasy score line in 23 out of 25 games. So, like, he's a guy that typically when he gets 24, 25 minutes, you can bet on him going over this fantasy score line. Again, he's averaged over a fantasy point per minute this season. He's averaged 1.13 fantasy points per minute. He's a guy that's productive when he does get minutes. It's just that his minutes are not always secure. But I think, with it being the playoffs now, you're probably going to see the Pistons tighten up their rotation a little bit. Maybe they cut somebody out of the rotation, which obviously would just make Asar's minutes even a little bit more secure. So just think we're getting a low line here on Asar. I think there's definitely more upside than downside here. So I do like him for more than 22.5 fantasy scores. So what we're going to roll with, guys, is our 2 props for the 4-game slate on Saturday, taking Kevin Porter Jr. for more than 22 fantasy score and Asar Thompson for more than 22.5 fantasy score. We went on a 2-0 sweep on our 2 plays Friday. Let's see if we can get another sweep here, guys. Hit both these plays for Saturday. As always, appreciate you guys watching these Prizepicks videos. Hit that like button down below. If you did enjoy, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys don't have an account over on Prizepicks, be sure to go sign up. Use promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, and place your first $5 lineup. You're going to get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. So check out Prizepicks if you have not yet. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.